The greatest source of entertainment is coming straight out of your own neighborhoods. This is Residential Raw Talent. This program reflects the works and attitudes of local artists. I'm Galen Thomas. Get your popcorn, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Dear Karen, while you were living your best life, demanding to speak with the manager, and calling the police about suspicious minorities walking down your sidewalk, your teenage son was desperately trying to find his own masculinity in hood culture, and your preteen daughter was sending naked selfies to her 19-year-old Instagram boyfriend. While you were screaming for tough on crime laws, your son was selling fentanyl to support his own habit, and your daughter was meeting that boyfriend at a trap house in the other side of town. While you were supporting zero tolerance laws and mandatory minimum sentences, your son was buying his first gun, and your daughter was agreeing to make a video with that boyfriend and 3 of his friends. While you were standing up for anti-abortion laws and screaming to make America great again, your son sold fentanyl to an undercover policeman, and your daughter took her first pregnancy test. While you were enjoying your afternoon Chardonnay, your son gave his sister fentanyl for the first time as she slipped into a coma. Because drugs, crime, and sex trafficking only affect those people, you never bothered to learn about Narcan. It wouldn't have mattered too much because your Chardonnay made you sleepy. By the time the emergency responders arrived, your daughter was near death. Thankfully, you live in a neighborhood where police response time is under 3 minutes. Your daughter was saved. When the police went through her phone, they found the naked selfies. She was arrested for child pornography. Your son was arrested for attempted manslaughter and possession with the intent to distribute. In the county jail, you discover that your 12-year-old daughter is pregnant, and your son is going through a living hell you could never imagine as he goes through withdrawal and is extorted by the same thugs he so desperately wanted to emulate. After learning that your daughter's pregnancy was a result of being gang raped, you demanded the state to allow for an abortion. Unfortunately, the laws you fought so hard passed, and an abortion would be illegal. Your son pleads with you to send money through an app called Cash App, which you'd never heard about until now, to another inmate's people. He says it's for food he borrowed, but it's really for his continued addiction, now in the form of Suboxone. Bonds were set at $100,000 for your daughter and $250,000 for your son. A bondsman will accept 10%, but even you don't have $35,000 cash on hand, especially after paying for their lawyers a combined $20,000. They both must stay in jail. At sentencing, your son receives 8 years for possession of fentanyl with the intent to distribute. The manslaughter charge is dropped thanks to the plea deal the prosecutor so graciously offered. However, at 17, he's tried as an adult. He will be a boy amongst hardened men. Your daughter fares better and is sent to a juvenile detention facility for 2 years, where she will give birth alone under state custody. Regardless of the fact that she took the nude pictures of herself, the tough on crime, zero tolerance laws you voted for tied the judge's hands. Now a grandmother raising her granddaughter with 2 children incarcerated, you have to become familiar with prison vendors to clothes boxes and foodstuffs, commissary money, phone money, email money, media money, TV money, 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 money. You experience the disrespect shown towards you from the officers at the facilities. You experience the degradation of endless searches and the outrage that comes with your impotent demands for accountability within a prison system. You finally know what it's like to be a them. This story may seem farcical and far-fetched, but it is a reality. I have witnessed firsthand this very situation play out multiple times while I was incarcerated. Make no mistake, your privilege will not save you. From the bill of goods, you were sold by your elected officials. Now that the impetus and injustice of the criminal justice system affects the middle and upper classes in exponentially growing numbers, maybe you'll realize the word criminal is not a subspecies of human, but your neighbor, your son, close friend. We are all but one misunderstood situation away from becoming a criminal. We are all potential criminals. This is not a public safety issue. This is not a crime issue. This is not a class issue. This is a people issue. And until we accept that more laws and tougher sentences are not the answer, you, Karen, are not safe. No one is. Currently, 39% of Americans have some sort of criminal record, and yet we persist in believing that it's someone else's problem. Society is a symbiotic organism, one that depends on every other facet in order to function properly. If a person gets liver cancer, you don't demand that the liver makes better choices and pull itself up by its bootstraps. To do this would mean certain death. No, you treat the cancer and you change your behavior to aid the failing organ in its recovery. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it ever reach us, it must spring up amongst us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time, or die by suicide. Abraham Lincoln.
Welcome to RRT. Today's guest is Adam White. He's the editor-in-chief of Mutiny Comics. Adam, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Really enjoyed your poem and appreciate your talent here today at RRT.
Thank you.
Adam, I really enjoyed your poem, and I think it speaks to many viewers out there who can identify with what you're speaking of. Thank you for sharing your work and time with RRT. Okay, and can you tell the viewers out there what you want them to know about Mutiny Comics?
Mutiny is, first, the name. It's real simple. It says what I needed to say because we need to have this revolt. And what are we revolting against but the status quo that just simply needs to be changed? We all have so many stories that aren't being told. Ultimately, mutiny is a matter of community. And the way I say that is common unity. It's our stories of your brother, your neighbor, your sister that are going to be able to connect with you. My vision for Mutiny is to share the stories that everybody else passes on because either they're too authentic, too real, too graphic, but that's reality. And these are the stories we need to hear. These are the stories that we absolutely need to share because that's how you create identification, that's how you create connection, and that's how you inspire. I mean, Iron Man don't inspire nobody.
Yeah, I see that, right.
I ain't a billionaire with a flying spacesuit. You got one laying around?
No, I sure
okay,
don't.
all right. I was just checking.
Wish I did.
Right, so, but you see someone that's in a situation where you're going through adversity in life, and you see someone that's in a situation where you're already feeling disenfranchised and alone, and you see how another person turned that to their advantage, overcame those difficulties, rose and went above. And you get the confidence that just maybe I can do that too. And ultimately, these are the stories that I'm looking for to be able to publish and branch out. But Mutiny came from Back to Blue. You know about them blues?
About them blues.
Know about them blues?
I know about the blues.
Okay, we know about the blues. So that's what it is. Back to Blue.
Okay.
Okay. So, first off, I'm in recovery, and I share that for me, I had to go through and do an inventory of the identity that I had been writing like it was me for far too long. I had to pick up every facet of who I was and examine it as if it was an object. I had to inspect it to see if it was an asset or a liability in my life. And this process of self-inventorying requires a lot of work on the pen and paper, and I started writing to the books, and all of a sudden voices started hearing back. No, we don't need to call mental health. It was more of a organic. I started to figure things out. Well, the voice started to get a name, and the name is Goey.
Goey?
Goey.
Okay.
It's not gooey. That's how it looks on the page. It is short for ego, ego-y. Like, man, he's being ego-y. And they just turned to Goey. And Goey started guiding me through this process. And when I rolled back the years of all the wrong turns in my life, and I tried to find out exactly what this new life was going to start to look like, I realized all I wanted to do was write and draw comic books.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have anything to write about until now.
Yes, I mean, you can always rely on life.
Yes.
And your life experiences.
Yes.
You can always go back to that as a format. But Adam, we really thank you for being here on the show today. We appreciate your talent once again, and you are welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
RRT is meant to be a door for new and upcoming talent and a vehicle for existing talent. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know how you feel about what you've seen. Let us know if you have something you want to see on the show, and let us know if you want to be on the show. Thank you for watching. We hope that you've enjoyed this edition, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Residential Raw Talent.